Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this SMO Any Percent League action. My name is Thero, hanging out with Philly today. How you doing, man?
I am doing great today, Thero. I'm very excited to commentate this race with you. We got third place Stravos versus sixth place Fur. Two PBs that are 15 seconds apart from each other. Should be a really great race here.
I think so as well. And what we've seen throughout this Any Percent League so far is, you know, these guys are fast, but they may not be going for the crazy risky stuff. Like, what do you think that we're going to see from these guys today? I know, typical left side, FMS, all of those normal things, but you think we're going to see crazy, like, small time saves that are really high risk, or what would you do in this situation?
Well, from what I know I've seen in the past with Fur and Fur's wooded route, I know Fur goes for the tree nut first typically, and he's been showing to do it in races as well. So we'll potentially see the Piranha plant moon story moon skip from Fur. I know he bonked one time doing it, but it hasn't stopped him from going for it again. So this will be very, very good and should be exciting.
Consistency is definitely key throughout this, and both of these runners have proven that consistency at this point. Now, the difference is, and I kind of explain it anytime that we're watching races or anything like that. When you're on your home stream and you're like, oh man, I just messed up cap, I'm going to reset. Well, you don't have that ability here. You have to keep going. You have to back it up. You bonk, you got to figure it out.
Yes, that is very true.
If you're racing, are you watching the other streamer?
Okay, so I've been in a couple of these races in the past, not for the GSA tournament, but when I've done them, I do have it open, but there's a delay, so you're not exactly sure, and you can't bank on it
right
when you're watching it. But you also have to know that you just gotta keep playing your game ultimately, no matter what happens. Even if if you try and add something else, you're probably gonna pile on more mistakes. As you mentioned with the mentality thing, we've seen it before in these races, and I know I'm a victim to it myself. How can you bounce back if you know you make one mistake? Because
exactly.
You do not want that to just snowball into a giant downfall for you. No downward spiral for either's runners. Hopefully they can both just stay mentally strong, get past these mistakes, and just have a very good race and be close to their PBs ultimately.
And that's the toughest part, I think. Small things like cap, aka Reset Kingdom. Both of these runners getting through it now. Stravos taking a little bit of a lead.
But as we saw further, hit the first Goomba, so that's gonna slow him down just a little bit. It's an annoying little feature, but if you hit that, you still bounce up a little higher with the frog.
The first high risk strat of the game, left side. Both of these guys nail it without the up throw. Looking good though.
Yeah, good topper fight there from Stravos, and now let's see Fur a little cleaner on the topper fight, so he's gonna make up some ground right there with the fight. I love the new topper fight strat. I really do.
It looks, it's super quick. I've been watching Damsta a lot here recently, and that guy's beast.
Oh yeah, dude. Everyone in this community is a beast. Let's be honest. This is a great community, and it's always growing. It's awesome to see how many people have developed as great speedrunners just through this game alone.
So it looks like about 3 seconds apart, 221 versus a 224 there.
And now we're going to see both runners here approach Wet FMS, a newer version of FMS that was discovered later. Originally, people had to vault off that rock over there where the first story moon is. A lot less consistent, but now we found this strat way easier, and I think every runner was happy we found this.
Even I can do it.
That's true. Mr. 1.0 over here now.
That's right. The attempts. Stravos, very quick with that dino skip.
And don't let dino skip deceive you. It's very annoying. The hitbox for the trampoline is just something that you don't want to mess around with too much, because it's sometimes the dino won't go far enough, and you'll dive and you'll bonk on the one spot of the wall. It doesn't trigger this Madam Brute fight, as both runners are doing this fight very cleanly. Stravos about to complete the fight, and Fur right behind. Then the chomp back and Madam Brood.
Now, grabbing those coins, which are going to be needed later, there's nothing more triggering to me going through an any percent run, making it all the way to snow, and realizing, oh, shoot. Oh, heck. I don't have a lot of coins. What am I going to do, you know?
Sir, why won't you let me buy this?
Right,
oh,
exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. Stravos looking good. Going to be grabbing 2 more moons here to get out of Cascade.
And now we're going to see both runners going for chest clip after they get this this moon on the cliff over here. And what this is essentially is it's kind of a similar trick to nut clip, where you backflip and cap throw into the moon from the chest at its peak, where Mario will get a little extra height and clip through the ceiling of this cave, and then you can dive through the floor, just as Stravos did right there. And it looks like Fur is in great position as well.
What's interesting about that, too, okay, a bonk coming through the ground. But what's interesting about it is watching everybody line up on the right-hand side, because the ceiling is actually a little bit higher on the left, so you can still get it. It's just more difficult to get it on the left-hand side of that chest.
Yeah, so if you want to talk about risky strats, I know a lot of people, the top runners, going for that sub-hour time that everyone's gunning for now. They'll hit the chest ahead of time, then jump on front center, and then grab the moon and do the clip, which is a little bit faster, but the right side setup is definitely more consistent.
Right. Going into Sand, aka Roll Kingdom. What kind of stuff are we going to see coming up in Sand?
All right, so in Sand, we're going to start off with some nice little movement until we get all the... we're going to see Dram first. I should mention that, shouldn't I?
Right.
I almost want to jump straight to Sphinx clip, but you know, Sand is actually a still evolving kingdom with this game, as Limcube recently discovered a new route that would actually be faster, where I believe we'd get Crate Moon after Sphinx clip, and it's just a crazy reroute that can save... I'm not going to say how much time, because I honestly forget the exact time. I don't want to fill you with false information, but it saves more time over the current route we have. And as you see there, Fur also grabbed the checkpoint. So we're going to see Fur lose a little bit of time. Or no, never mind, because we do notes.
Yep.
I see notes.
Yep, so
I'm a crate boy, warp. So I don't do notes, but I'm not used to that. So Fur actually won't lose time.
Agreed. You know, these guys, especially when we get towards notes, it's amazing how quickly they can do it to save time. I try notes and I'm fumbling everywhere, and I think that I'm pretty quick at it. And I'm like, oh, wait, I just lost 20 seconds. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so notes is actually really interesting. I believe if you do notes optimally and clean, it is faster to route that in instead of the crate moon. But if you know you're not good at notes, such as a runner, such as myself, it's actually faster to just get the crate out of the way. But we're going to see Stravos do Dram and now go straight for the pillar with the bullet bill.
Now, I don't know if you caught the movement up to on top of the ice, the Arch Moon. Stravos not doing that backflip into a cap dive looked really clean.
Yeah, very clean indeed. And Stravos actually set up his Dram as well on the ice pillar next to the alcove in the ruins, which is a faster strat that was more so recently discovered, with a spin off that, and then you throw your cap up.
Oh.
And here's Sphinx clip, and this can cost you some time. Oh, that looked a little scary right there for Stravos as he sunk in. You can actually clip to your death here. Both these runners are most likely going to go for double clip, as Fur is now struggling with Sphinx clip, but he gets it third try, and he actually saved just a little bit of time over Stravos because he did not bonk.
All right, Stravos got his second. Let's see what Fur's gonna do here. Up.
And the second clip is very important to get fast, because this is for the bird cycle
right
in the Oasis. So we'll see how fast Fur can be to make sure he gets the bird on cycle and at a good time.
Coming up on Jaxie Skip.
Yeah, Jaxie's
optimal. And, you know, maybe you can kind of explain to the viewers as well that may not know. We see a lot with these ground pound moons, the spin pound buffer. How does that work?
So spin pound buffering is something that's it's very annoying when you first start. Essentially, it takes, I believe, 2 rotations of the control stick, 2 complete rotations of the control stick to buffer a spin pound out of a roll animation or out of a dive. So you have to be able to be fast with it, and once you stop rolling, such as when we saw with the luggage moon, and we're probably gonna see Fur here with the where the birds gather moon. When you are approaching it, you want to stop power rolling at a certain point, and then know the distance between then and the moon.
Right.
Buffer the spins, and then Mario will just be right there, and you do a quick ground pound, because spin pounding is definitely faster than if you're doing a normal ground pound.
Because it's almost instant.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But it's very satisfying once you get it down. I will say that.
Stravos taking an early lead here, hitting that globe. You're not far behind him, though. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff coming up that... the first thing that comes to my mind is Meme Tree, yes.
I think Nut Clip first.
Nut Clip as well. And a lot of runners around my time, too, start talking about Nut Clip. And from what I figured out, the clip itself is not hard. It's the movement after the clip.
Yeah, so the wee wee hoo isn't as bad once you get the timing down, but the out of bounds movement is definitely the tricky part there.
Right.
There's a lot that can go on, and I'm not sure if we're gonna see either runner here. Speaking of clips, go for Lake Clip here, as Fur's going wooded first.
Oh wow! So we're gonna see a little bit of a route deviation. Now, why do you think he chose to go to wooded first?
I believe that if you do wooded first, I could be completely wrong, but there might be that myth that there's like a half-second time save if you optimally navigate the menuing.
Gotcha.
Whether or not that's the case, I'm not sure, but for the moment, you typically not see runners go wooded first.
Ooh, Stravos taking that fish bonk on the Cheap Crossing moon. It amazes me. These guys going through Lake specifically, they go down to do the Broken Pillar, and when the Broken Pillar moon spawns, you can still see Dory's shadow, and that's kind of how I judge speed, where that shadow is.
Yeah, so visual cue. I like it. Yeah, Lake is typically a sub 3-minute kingdom, especially for runners of this tier.
Right.
As we see Stravos approach Rango, and here's what I mentioned earlier with Fur going for this nut on the tree. So he is definitely going to be going for the Story Moon skip at the Piranha, and we're going to see him. You'll see when we get there. We'll explain the process. As a very clean Rango fit right there.
All right.
And we
clip achieve. Oh, and he bonked. He landed on the ledge, though.
Yeah, so that happens a lot. If you're just a little too far away, surprisingly, if you're a little too far away from Cappy on your dive, you're going to dive just over Cappy, and you're going to bonk into the wall. As opposed to if you're just close and you do a quick dive, then you'll actually hit the front edge of Cappy, and you'll get the cap jump just in time. And very clean movement after the ramp climb for Fur. He struggled with a bit, just a little bit on the first.
All of these spin pounds to grab these nuts.
Every second counts now.
It does. You know, Stravos wrapping up his time here in Lake Kingdom, going to be joining Fur in Wooded, but Fur still has Lake to do.
Yeah. So for those of you that are just joining in, Fur does not have this phenomenal world record pace time
Right.
at Wooded at 13:30 right now. He actually opted to go to Wooded first as Stravos went to Lake first. And here's where we're going to see the Piranha moon skip. So you're going to get this not as you typically would. And this is a very scary jump here. So you're going to watch for go right over that railing. But if you bonk on that railing, it's a death. And the worst part about that death, if you die there, you are getting sent all the way back to the shop.
Oh my god. He got a couple of ledge grabs, decided to readjust his approach. I don't blame him.
Yeah, it was the setup there is a lot different from FRS as you typically would do it. Because Fur was avoiding grabbing the story moon because you don't want to get an extra moon for sure.
Especially one that is a story moon with a cutscene and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. So we're gonna see Stravos now go for nut clip himself, and it looks like he's a little low, and
he was
is
not able to get it.
So now we're gonna see him go for rock clip most likely as a backup for this. This is a backup that you can only do on 1.0. If you're a 1.2 and you miss nut clip, you can't back it up with this movement right here. And hopefully Stravos practice rock clip because it's something that you typically don't see many runners go for. As Fur is doing spiritless route, which means he's going to be getting a nut here. And then he's going to be doing the flooding pipeway and then warping back to the Odyssey. Stravos really struggling here with this rock clip.
Yeah.
You start thinking at what point do you just admit, oh, here he goes. Okay, never mind. Good commentator's curse. As you guys see, Stravos take this out of bounds movement right here, and hopefully he can get the second half of this flawlessly.
Good, but that's what we were talking about. So he knows who he's up against. So he knows he doesn't have a whole lot of time. So, at what point do you start saying to yourself, okay, what am I going to do if I'm not going to get this? I can't just sit here and attempt it over and over. And that's that whole mentality thing.
Yep. Because there's also a point of pride that you feel when you're in a race. You're like, wow, if I do this, I'm gonna be viewed differently, or if I can't do this, like this is embarrassing for me, or any small factor like that can kick in.
Exactly, which is crazy because all of the guys here in the Any% League are phenomenal.
Oh yeah, this is a top tier league for sure. The best of the best when it comes to this game.
Now I love, if you're paying attention to Stravos, the purple goo right there, the triple. That's actually kind of buffered a little bit so that you don't take damage. How does that work?
So there's one spot of that poison goo that Stravos actually hit that will not give you damage, and you can actually buffer a jump on it. So basically, it's just a good timing for the triple jump, and as long as you can get that right spot, because if you're too far, you're getting hit by the goo. If you're too far to the right, you hit by the goo. You don't want to get hit by the goo. Right. So there's the sweet spot. I believe it's like bottom left corner of it, respectively, that you can hit there, triple jump, dive onto Piranha, and then do the clean movement. As far as also going for Lake Clip. Ooh, fake clip. So fake clip is what you see there. When Cappy clips through the wall, this is how we judge if we're lined up correctly. And now it looks like he got it the second time. Wall jump here, up throw to grab the checkpoint, dive down to the chest moon here. And this way he can warp back up to that checkpoint that he grabbed.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of runners have to actually switch controllers for that.
Yeah, actually, that's just what I was about to point out. So Fur is known as a Joy-Con runner, so Fur doesn't have to switch anything up. But a lot of top runners, and most of them that go for Lake Clip, they use Pro-Con, but as soon as they go for Lake Clip, as soon as they grab the chest moon, they switch the Joy-Con so they can get that down throw as we just saw for the Cheap Crossing moon. Just for that down throw, because you cannot do a down throw in midair with a Pro controller. You can only do it with Joy-Cons.
So again, for the ones that are just joining us, it appears that Stravos and Fur are running some weird stuff right now. Fur already knocking out Wooded, Stravos already knocking out Lake. So we'll know where they are here shortly.
We're actually looking like we're going to see very similar globe times. Because Fur's about to warp now, and they're both warping to the Odyssey in their respective kingdoms. And yeah, so they both completed the fork in the road of Wooded and Lake now, collectively. And it looks like Fur has the lead, so, but not by much.
Fur running on Joy-Cons, I don't know very many other top runners that do run on Joy-Cons.
I'm being put on the spot. I'm trying to think. I think Goryuya might. I believe Goryuya might be running on Joy-Cons, but I'm not 100% certain. But that's the only one I can think of. I'm bad with knowing who runs with Pro and who runs with Joy, because I just assume most run with Pro.
Right.
If anyone in the chat wants to inform our people that you know for sure, go ahead.
I mean, that's kind of the default is the Procon. But with Fur, it's always amazing to watch because you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, when I started learning this game, it was with Joy-Cons, but I used the controller dock for them. And then at a certain point, I was like, I want to take this game seriously. This is uncomfortable. I want to switch to Procon.
Right.
And now we're going to watch the Bowser fight. As you're wondering, as they both dive to the right, this is to trigger, so Bowser only jumps to the left one platform as opposed to two to save just a little bit of time.
The backflip up. Man, and we're neck and neck here. Up.
Yeah, we are. Fur holding a very minimal lead over Stravos right now.
Now, coming up on this last one, they're going to take damage here on purpose, and it's because of how the caps almost home in on you. Explain that a little bit, Philly.
So, as Thera was just saying, the caps will home in on you, so when Bowser launches hats, if you wait for the first cycle to hit you, you're not going to be able to recover and backflip on that hat in time. So you want to get the damage out of the way so you are invulnerable, and taking advantage of the invincibility frames from the hats, so you can be lined up and ready to backflip onto the white cap, because otherwise it will not work if you just sit there and you just try. I'm gonna break the standard. You're not.
Right.
Many people have tried it. It's just disappointment, and you're gonna lose time on a Bowser cycle.
Oh, and just with that single bonk, Stravos is now slightly in the lead.
Yeah, and Lost is a very, very fun but dangerous kingdom to run. I'd say it's one of the most fun, though, because you're grabbing 10 moons in 2 minutes.
By far the quickest kingdom outside of, like, Cloud.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we're going to see lots of spin pounds.
Lots of spin pounds.
And what you're going to see here is from this tree, both runners are going to go up on this rising pillar right there. And that's to activate Klepto, who steals your hat if you don't, once you get down. If you go to an activation point for Klepto, you'll trigger him. He'll start all the way at the bottom without Cappy. And then you have to go save Cappy. Then you have to continue the kingdom. It's a lot of time loss you don't want to deal with.
Oh, yeah. And triggering, we talked about that mindset. I mean, I can imagine how that mindset hitting Klepto by accident. I mean, because you're just losing time.
Yeah, as Stravos got Cage Moon triple and Fur did as well. That strat is very satisfying to watch, but also very dangerous to perform.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot that can go wrong there. You can be short, you can bonk. You can just flat out. Some of the worst is when you get there, and if you get there too late, and you don't have time to crouch, the bug's gonna hit you. The torpedo's gonna hit you, and then it doesn't break the cage, and then you have to go back to the stone cage, and then under the bridge, and then you just wasted that time for that setup and everything. So there's a lot that can go wrong with cage triple. But as we're leaving Lost, it looks like Stravos has about 10-second lead or so.
Not too bad. Just trading blows for blows here. Now, Coming up on Metro Night, this is by far one of my worst kingdoms, only because it is so very movement based, especially when you start getting to City Hall, inside City Hall. You can bonk, you can miss an elevator cycle there, costing you a little bit of time. So I'm kind of interested to see. Good save.
It's always scary. It's your heart drops just a little bit every time. But yeah, City Hall is definitely the big point of Night Metro when it comes to movement before the boss fight. As for getting a little bit of a slow setup, he didn't get the triple jump that he wanted off of those vents at the top of the building.
But he was able to back it up just a little bit with that backflip up. Stravos heading into inside City Hall now.
As you're gonna see here, you're gonna see Stravos. This is why I always like to look at, because every time you notice, you line yourself up with the purple coin, and if you grab that purple coin, you're good to just spam A.
Right.
All the time. So that's the fastest way to climb it. If you're looking for a visual cue, purple coin. It looks like Fur was a little slow on his cycle, but he's managed to make up for it by just climbing up with the cap dive and wall jumps.
Right. It was a good backup. All right, Stravos heading up to fight the Mecha Wiggler. Getting that 2 cycle is super important.
Yes, this is one of the few spots RNG can actually affect a run in this game, because we're going to see with the second pattern for the Mecha Wiggler, the last thing you want to see is a lot of crossovers with its body and it going over itself and making loops, because sometimes you'll shoot at it and it'll body block itself.
Right. And
that is very frustrating, and then you don't want it to come down to a last second hit on Mecha Wiggler, because these hitboxes are wonky. I will tell you that much. There are going to be times you are literally watching your shots hit the body of this Mecha Wiggler and it's just not affecting it at all. You're just sitting there wondering why. As we see Stravos get big loop, and this is what we're talking about.
Is this going to be a 3 cycle?
He might be able to get the...
Oh, no.
And you can see the frustration of the gyro controls right there, shaking up and down, as Fur got a much more favorable pattern here. No crossover whatsoever. And you could see there, like last second, typically what Fur was shooting would still have hit the bottom one, but for some reason it didn't. They had to just readjust.
Stravos struggling a little bit here, as Fur takes the lead once again.
Yeah, it looks like in every other kingdom we're going to see a lead change. It's a very exciting race, and this is why, no matter what happens, you always just got to keep pushing through, because if you let your mistakes snowball, you never know what the other runner that you're going against is going to do or how their run's going, as we mentioned earlier. If you're watching it and you notice 2 minutes later, whatever the delay may be, you're going to be like, oh man, I wish I just kept pushing forward.
Exactly. You know, and I know a lot of runners will just kind of like put their head down and just do what they do best, but some runners will be here in Discord just watching. Just like, okay, hold on, wait, all right, I need to make up time, I need to try this, more risky, whoa.
Little interesting angle for the Dram here in the beginning of Day Metro, as we're going to see Fur go for scooter clip. I'm sure he's going to go for drive-by strat. Very fast, very efficient.
Oh.
As he got bonked, but hey, as long as you don't miss the moon, it's not terrible.
That's skill. I would be spending the next 15 minutes trying to back that up.
And here's Stravos, clean drive-by, getting a little bit of time on Fur. And here we have another Dram from this trash moon to the flingy thing. I don't know what to call them. The flingy flicker. And what you're going to see here is for timing. So the taxi is always a good judgment of time. So as you can see where the taxi is for Fur, it's a little in the way, right? We're going to see Stravos, who got a clean drive-by and a cleaner start to Day Metro. He's going to be completely in front of this taxi. You don't even see it.
Yeah, you don't see it at all.
So that's a really good judgment of time of how your Day Metro is going. I know a lot of runners, top-tier runners, look at that. They'll know instantly, I'm on a good pace right now, or I'm not, just based on the taxi location.
I'm going to talk to Pauline Musicians first, which has kind of become the new standard.
Yeah, Pauline struggles to find a drummer that's playing 5 feet away from her, but hey, she's the mayor, so we'll let it slide.
So here's a question for you. As these guys are rolling up to get the drummer, we see them go into first person for just a second. Why is that?
So first person is actually a very interesting strat, and a lot of you, if any of you have watched Darker Side, you notice it a lot with Toadette moons at the very end. And that's because you see the camera slowly zoom in, pan in on this animation to talk to these NPCs. And we also see it with the bridge in the very beginning at Cap Kingdom. If you go in first person, you can alter the camera so you're not getting that slow zoom and saving just a little bit of time. And when you're talking to the person, boom, they're already there. Or it's a faster zoom out as opposed to a slow zoom across.
And here in any percent, every second counts.
Oh, for sure. With speedrunning in general. No matter what, yeah. No matter what category. It could be the longest category, it could be 100%, it could be max percent, even though. Oof. But every second counts in every category.
Exactly. Now, Fur doing a ground pound as he comes out, but Stravos doing the 3 backflips to get up top.
And Fur altered the camera and very clean spin pound right there for Fur. Now we're probably going to see Stravos get a spin pound off the top. So typically you'll see a lot of runners. It depends where you're watching. Top tier runners do a spin pound off the top of the tower doing the Dizzying Heights moon. Typically, a lot of people used to do the safer, which is just cap dive and then dive immediately.
Right.
But getting a vector and the speed that you get from a ground pound roll, a spin pound roll, off the top is definitely faster.
Wrapping up the time here in Day Metro, still incredibly close, just lead change after lead change. Wow, you can't even see Mario as Fur was going through that. That's kind of scary. I'm not used to that camera angle.
Yeah, and going back to every second counts, I'm not sure if you guys noticed it. You'll probably see it, I think, in Lake again as well. But when they warp back to the Odyssey, they actually zoom out the map as they're going down. And that allows you to get to the Odyssey location faster while scrolling on the map.
I didn't even
just
think
going
about
back to every second counts. I remember when I started picking up on that, I was like, oh, wow.
Like the small things.
It's true. So Fur with a 310 fade out and Stravos with a 313 fade out. So we got like a 3-second race here. As Fur once again defaulting to they're both going lake.
Both going to Seaside.
Or I said lake, my bad. Seaside. There's water.
Okay? Going to the beach.
Yeah, and we're gonna see cheap clip or whatever you want to call it. Sphinx strip, Seaside clip, whatever you want to call it.
Which is new. It was only found, about a month ago?
Yes, very recent. Yeah, I believe it was found in February. 'Cause I remember I took a little bit of a break and I came back and there's a new clip. I'm like, what?
And it's awesome. And it's not something that's like incredibly difficult. It's just one of those things where it's incredibly difficult to do it very quickly.
Yeah, and the moon that this replaced. So now we get the moon in the Sphinx room. By clipping through a wall, and then we do a spin motion grab with the cheap to grab the narrow, the underwater moon, and then you go to the Sphinx room. And this negates us getting the slower Notes moon, which I feel bad for anyone that spent a lot of time working on Rocket Flower Refresh.
Yep.
Especially
exactly.
if you put a lot of time into 2-frame.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to see both of these guys are going to grab this cheap down here.
Yeah, Fur with his down throws because he's always on Joy-Cons. Stravos had to get a little more on the cheap's level. And this, oh my God, it is so close. And that fish bonk right there. Bonk. Lead change.
That's how quickly it is. In fish bonk, these fish bonk off of anything.
Yeah, this tunnel can be a nightmare for new runners. Fish bonk on fish bonk. But it looks like both of them doing well so far, navigating. And Seaside is typically what you go to first if you didn't have enough coins. I wasn't looking at the coin count, so I'm wondering now how close they both were to 100 coins.
Yeah, that is true.
I get so intrigued by the gameplay, and it's like when I'm running, I don't typically look at my coin count, but that's what makes top level runners that definitely gives them an edge, because they're always looking for everything, making sure that they have everything calculated, coins and everything they need. And here we go.
There it is. Oh.
And both runners got it. And here's that spin grab to open the hitbox just a little wider.
The fish like freaks out of bounds. It's like, it's weird.
It does indeed. The fish can definitely spaz a bit, and just move really fast, and you're scared, and then you don't want to clip back into the wall, because if you clip back into the wall, then you're gonna be losing time, because then I'm guessing you're gonna just go talk to the Sphinx and get the moon the slow way.
Right. And I don't know about you, but I don't speak Japanese, so it would be really hard for me to back that up.
I believe in Seaside it's option 3 or 4.
Because I know in Wooded it's 3.
Or it's 3. Or is it 4? I don't know. I don't speak Japanese either, and I haven't talked to him. So I don't talk to the dude unless it's good old talkative percent where I'm forced to.
Right. Every time. Man, this has stayed neck and neck the entire time. Both runners either taking a bonk or take like minor things. There's nothing major that's happened here.
Yeah, and we got word it's we believe it is 4 for those of you that are looking out. Yeah.
4.
And at the end, oh, there's a bonk right there. And ready? Watch. Oh, I thought we were gonna see the quick lead change. It's close.
Very close, because Fur looked like he was about to bonk, and he just threw Cappy.
Yeah, and that's bonk. And that's like another part of thinking on your feet. How fast can you react? You'll see a lot of beginner level runners. It's just admit defeat. It's like, oh man, this wall here, yeah, I'm hitting that.
Yeah.
But these top level runners, because snow is you're gonna see these hallways when they go to the rooms. Bonk central. I'll tell you, you can bonk on anything in those hallways, and just a simple cap throw, get out of it to avoid the bonk will help you. Even if you're losing momentum, it's better than losing 2 seconds on a bonk.
Oh. That was weird.
It was a little sketchy climb right there by Fur. But I do agree with that movement. You know, I do prefer getting the pole on the side as opposed to the bridge, because on the bridge, you're going to see some wall jumps that make you go down. And as both runners get the clip, well done by both runners here.
Wow.
So that's a similar to chest clip, except you won't be on the side. So Mario grabs the moon. You won't be close to the wall. And you're going to be going through the wall and going straight to the poison room, as opposed to jumping all the way down and going around in through the hallway.
Now, Stravos there, super optimal, using the momentum on top of the block there to get up as high as he could to get that blustery archway moon. Saving a little time over Fur, who missed it, had to back it up.
Yeah, that's a very tight timing strat, and it's a very annoying strat to practice, because this room, every time, if you die the first time, the cycles are going to be off.
Right.
So you really want to make sure you're hammering that home the first time. You want to start with a long jump, go around with a cap jump, go around the first blowy joey, and then you want to do another cap dive, roll, long jump, triple jump, and you want to be on the bottom step as it's getting blown and get your triple jump there, so you get thrown with the momentum. And it is a crazy tight strat, but it's one of those, if you dedicate a lot of time to it, and once you get it, you'll be like, oh yeah.
Exactly. I mean, because we saw the time save right here. You know,
yeah, Stravos
about a moon ahead.
Yeah, increasing the lead for sure. I like that little the roll cancel triple jump there that we get.
All right.
So now we're gonna see the exciting gameplay of buying a moon.
Hey, touche.
But this is actually a very interesting moon buy because you can buy this moon from really far away for some reason.
Yeah.
So you only have to take like a half step forward and you can talk to the dude because he's just gonna yell over to you and just be like, "Hello," and like you can buy a moon from him. And that's great, as opposed to everyone else in the game that you have to walk up and get in their face. And sometimes you get a little frustrated and you jump up on the desk
on the counter.
like,
you're
yeah,
popping his head.
okay, give me a moon.
Snowdram incoming. Super difficult.
That was a very fast setup right there for Stravos. As you see, Fur taking just a little bit more time to set up his camera to make sure that it's good. But both runners making it look, yeah, as you just said, relatively easy.
Right.
I'm very impressed with Stravos' camera setup, though, because that is hard to do. The thing that a lot of runners want to try and implement is set up list dram.
Right.
And that's just getting on there and just knowing that, all right, Cap's going to go there. But Stravos did like the next best thing to that. Just quick zoom in, already there, knew it, boom.
It reminds me of like OG Candleless in SM64 where you just kind of yeet and hope that you get it.
Good old yeet and pray.
Exactly.
As we now come to Luncheon.
Luncheon is, you know, one of those longer kingdoms that, you know, it's spread out so far. You've got a lot of small mistakes that can be made. You know, and we're going to see one of those 1.0 exclusive strats, which is Turnip Clip. Now, I tried it for the first time last night, just kind of playing around with it, and absolutely miserably failed over and over.
Man, that story took a sad turn of events.
It was, but it shows the consistency and how that muscle memory kicks in speedrunning, and these guys are going to hopefully nail it their first time.
Oh, for sure. And we'll get the Turnip Clip.
Nope.
As Fur takes a bonk around the corner, we'll definitely describe Turnip Clip as we approach it, right when they get to after Fork's room and atop the Jutting Crag. As they are now fighting Spewart here, this is the one story moon. We have tried to find ways and ways. How can we avoid Spewart? How can we go without this boss fight and the story moon grab? You can't. You just can't do it. Unfortunately, you will not be able to spawn in, I believe it's the story moon for the meat moon, which is definitely the freest multi-moon of them all.
Yeet. All right, Spewart. Like I said, the only little brutal. I mean, and of course, I still run earlier strats, so I get to see Spewart early on in Wooded.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. And also, an interesting thing to probably throw out here. So, for those of you that may be new to GSA and don't understand the point system, so every 10 seconds, whoever wins, if they win by another, every 10 seconds is a point that they get that their opponent loses. So keeping close in a race and close races are very important for the standings. As I mentioned, we have Stravos in 3rd place for the league right now, while Fur is currently in 6th, both in the playoffs. So you always still gotta play well, even if you notice that your opponents, even like if they start taking any sort of lead, you know you gotta just keep playing your game because you need to finish relatively close to them for your points.
Which is, it's great that it's set up that way.
I love it, yeah.
Now, I just recently learned this. Stravos is going to be doing the spin pound up here, but he's quick enough to make this Podobo cycle down here. Yep. I learned that you could actually manipulate the camera to where it's directly above you, so the Podobo spawns later, so you can still make that cycle.
Yeah, so that's a strat that I do. Typically, you're going to see the fastest of speed boys go for this strat, that both of them looks like Fur got it in time. So that's a very tight timing strat right there. But for people that do the camera manip, you do put the camera straight down on top of you as you spin roll, ground pound roll into the first salt pile, and then you change the camera up because then the Podobo will spawn there for you with its first jump. giving you more time to grab the moon and then capture it. But if you just see it, you're going to be late on the cycle, and you're going to have to wait for it to come back around again. Small platform, but it's a timing thing. As we see Stravos now.
Both runners, like, Forks was amazing.
Yeah, Forks is a strat that I'm sure every runner spent a lot of time in, because honestly, it's just lots of fun. And Stravos knew that his turnip was a little too close. So good catch there, because you don't want to waste time just messing around in front of the cage and losing time and then resetting, moving the pan bro farther away. As Fur looks like that's going to be close. I think if he... Oh, okay, never mind.
He wants to readjust it. Okay.
Yeah, safe than sorry. I get it. It would have been really tight, but both runners got it. There's actually, though... I didn't know this, but you can actually soft lock the game with turnip clip.
Really?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So as you saw both runners, once you jump out of the pan, bro, you go over the turnip, and they typically get a little farther away from the pan, bro, you know, as they throw their cap. You don't want to land and try and throw your cap while getting too close to the pan, bro, because your cap throw will grab him, but you will also grab the turnip, and then you'll kill the pan, bro, as you capture him. And the game just spawns in the pan bro, and it looks like you are the pan bro, and it's just a pan bro jumping around with a Mario hat. As Fur struggling here, but didn't die, so that's very important for Fur. But yeah, you can actually soft lock the game, and you're just stuck.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yep, it is a very unfortunate thing that happened to me on a PB pace before.
Oh, rip. So Stravos taking that lead now. For losing a little bit of time here in Luncheon. Like I said, Luncheon can be brutal as he's grabbing that last multi-moon. Stravos is going to be making his way to Bowser's Kingdom here shortly after Ruined.
Yeah, Ruined Kingdom is it's totally not a snooze fest or anything of any kingdom. I'm just waiting for us to find some really interesting strats with Ruined, honestly. I feel like one day something really cool is to be found, right?
It is. Because there's, I think, if there's any opportunity, that's probably a big one, because it does take up a lot of time to sit there and wait for all the cycles of the dragon. Even though it is like the kingdom looks amazing, it's gorgeous. But
yeah, it's a shame it's used for only
right. It's kind of like a filler, and you know, especially when an early runner can get within 10-12 seconds of BTT. Just because there's not time save there, other than this movement going up to the actual fight itself. That's where the biggest time save is. Yep,
the biggest time save is that I was about to say that is definitely that movement, such as with snow, which is a lot of people don't really think about when you're thinking about like losing time in snow. A lot of people go to the poison room, if you're doing snow dram or not, it could be that. But a lot of people don't think about the outside movement of snow either. So it's interesting how you look at the main parts of the level, but then there's the little things such as just simple outside movement or getting somewhere that can also add up. Right. And obviously getting these the stakes out of the dragon's head are very important. Doing that optimally. So the closest thing we have to a quote cool strat here would be something I doubt we're going to see from either runner, but you can actually grab on the second and third phase, you can grab the stake in the top right, and if you stand where Fur stands right there, or like towards the center, Cappy will grab the far stake, it'll come back, pull out the second one in one, so it's just like one cap throw too. You get two birds one stone.
Swagalicious.
Yeah. As we see Fur farming cap throws, he's been playing AUM a lot, so I'm sure he's used to this movement.
And I think it's Little Aggie who actually goes over to the right and just jumps and cap throws a whole bunch to try to stay in the air.
Yeah, that is Aggie. Aggie's been doing that for the longest time.
I think it was in a race with Dangers that I noticed that. I was like, well, all right.
I've been watching Aggie for a long time. I can't think of when he doesn't do that, or didn't do that, I should say. As we see Stravos finishing off the Lord of Lightning, and we have Fur on the last phase. just patching his head one last time.
I do want to know how that dragon like sits up there. It's just like balanced on its head.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
Like you go back to the kingdom later and you see these big giant wings outstretched, and he's just hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, hey, honestly, low key jealous.
I mean,
I wish I could just do that. That'd be pretty cool.
Taking a nap after the Bowser mind control. I don't know if I'm jelly of that. I mean, the nap part, yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, nap sounds pretty good sometimes, you know.
That Bowser mind control, I'm that's a little sketch. Just a little bit.
You know, Mario's saving the Lord of Lightning.
No, touche.
But once again, his work just goes... It's a thankless job being a plumber that saves the world.
It would be great if, you know, you could capture the dragon and then just fly to the moon. But then we wouldn't get to see this awesome Bowser gameplay coming up.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Capturing that dragon would be really cool.
See?
What if you use it to fly to Bowser's kingdom?
That'll work too.
Yeah.
Just forget the Odyssey. We got a dragon now.
As we see Stravos getting a quick spin pound there. And that timing's actually very tight. So that bonk there is unfortunate. But the Pokios, if you're a little slow and you don't get that spin pound quick enough, the Pokios will do their attack. And that'll actually eat an input of yours if you try, because it like freezes the game for like half a second. Your inputs are just dead. Yeah, we're going to see Fur here. So it's going to be a quick spin pound ground. So right before the attack, because otherwise you won't get the dive onto the cap, or you won't get the cap throw properly in time. So it's very important that you get that if you're going for that strat fast.
Oh.
Fur was a little too close to the ogre.
Bonking on the top up there. There are so many cutscenes in Bowser's.
Yeah. Bowser's
and another bonk from Stravos, you know, trying to give Fur the opportunity to catch up here, following that commentator script to the T, making it interesting.
Man, if only this kingdom had like some. Oh, okay. This is a dive back strat. I was gonna say some boss fight or something that, you know, could potentially even up the playing field or be a little tough. But the dive back strat there that Stravos is going for, a very interesting one, just narrowly avoiding that bomb right there. So for the dive back strat, you want to get close enough to the shard with your jump, and then Fur almost got it. He got the shard, but he bonked because he went just a little too far.
Oh no! No! Yeah, I was thinking that because he did the cap throw up normally. Wow, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Fur, as he took a death right there. I was going to mention with the dive back strat, though, you want to hold Cappy out. And if you're in a ground pound animation, you can actually shake the controller to dive.
Right.
In this game. That's a kind of like a hidden control that not many people know about if you casually play this game.
Right.
So you can do 2 for 1. So Cappy grabs the shard as Mario dives, and Fur right there struggling to get up with the Pokio. That was a very annoying climb to make. It looks like Stravos is Team Harriet first. Can we get some Harriet firsts in the chat if you're Team Harriet first? Or are you Team Topper first? Represent your squad.
All right. So, just so that you guys know that are watching, the streams didn't drop. We took a couple of seconds to, after that death, a little bit of lag, had to re-sync up the timers and everything. We are good to go now.
Yeah, we're going to see Fur go for the Bowser Dram as well. Very good save. Good save. And that's the nice part about this Dram, because if you have Cappy close enough to it,
you just shake.
Yeah, you just shake and you're going to save. I know a lot of people probably look at it and it's like, oh, rip. Nope, you can save it.
Pete thought he was going to go and check out the wares in the shop, look like.
Yeah, so there's actually a very... So with that, Fur was going for the pylon dive, the dive out of the pylon strat, where if you hold your left joystick to the bottom left and you dive out at the right time, you're going to dive immediately out to the right towards the checkpoint flag to save just a little bit of time. As Stravos had a very clean topper fight, I believe. It was fast, you know, it seemed fast.
I'm mesmerized by this Harriet. All right. Stravos grabbing that story moon. Gonna be going into some cutscenes before
and I think it's
wrapping it up.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting the first person view for Harriet there that people do with the strat. It just allows you to put your cap throw in the right exact place so that you can send the bomb back to Harriet as soon as possible. I was gonna say as fast as possible. Both work.
Hey, both work. The timing on that last phase that Fer just went through on Topper is really tough, especially for beginner runners to try to get it, because it's weird. To me, it's not like the other phases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we see Stravos get there around after the crate moon movement very fast. That dive is very scary to get it.
And now we have because the camera's in front of you.
Yeah, I actually turn the camera and it petrifies people because they just always think that turning the camera is going to screw you up. I find it more satisfying or like more reliable because it's just not a blind dive.
Right, exactly. You see where you're going.
Yeah, and I see if I see I need to adjust in midair and like have to do a quick wall jump, I'll do it. Now we have Mecha Brutal,
which can be brutal, especially in this any% league. Like, we've seen these guys who've done this fight hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times just make a mistake, and it hurts.
Yeah, and Stravos getting Goryuya mech very fast right there. Quick climb up the right side, and then the quick dive back spin pound to get Topper as soon as the Mecha Brutal turns, or Robo Brute as Nintendo likes to call it.
Robo Brute.
And now we're going to see Stravos going for target acquired. So that means Harriet third as he gets that spin pound really quick. And he's going to line himself up right here. And this is a very important spin pound.
Oh, and he missed. He fell off.
And there it is. As we have Fer now approaching the fight. So this is some room for Fer to catch up just a little bit before going into Moon. Target acquired is not an easy strat by any means.
Mecha Brutal is not easy by any means for sure.
No. As Fer with a clean climb and a clean topper hit. And now I believe Fer is going to be going for target acquired as well.
I mean, if he gets it, he's narrowed that gap even after the death.
Oh, and he missed Harriet. So he's still gonna go for it. The step's gonna be just a little weird because you're not used to going in that direction. And he did. Well done, Fer. So catching up a little bit, maybe about... I wish I saw the time he grabbed the multi-move. I'm going to go based off the cutscene fade out. So 56:31 for Stravos with the fade out of that multi-moon.
The commentator backups. That's what we're going to call that.
Heck yeah. You know, we also got to think on the fly, not just the runners.
Touche. Speaking of, while we're going through this cutscene, make sure, if you're in chat, hit !paste. Check it out. It's going to be an awesome event. I'm going to be there. I'm going to drag Philly there at some point. Kicking and screaming because I know that he's got a lot of stuff going on, but I'd love to see you guys there as well. Exciting to meet all of the top runners in the 4 leagues that are going on right now. It's going to be a really good event. !pace to get more information on that.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a speedrunner, and it's a great time to be into speedrunning. I love seeing the community grow as Fer is 30 seconds on the dot behind Stravos, by the way.
Yeah, that death was unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure. The dive back, that whole section with the dive back, bonking, taking damage from the spiny, and then the death afterwards. But once you, as you mentioned, like once you get a little out of your setup your normal way and you try and back it up, there's a greater chance for a mistake because you're doing something in a different way you're not used to.
I just learned this and just implemented it into my runs, the moon vectors here in the beginning, and it's so satisfying.
Satisfying and also very frustrating at times when you when you get pulled towards the other island instead, but Stravos showing that he's a master of vectoring. He's gonna grab both rocket flowers here. Another vector.
Another vector, yep.
And now to one of the earliest skips found.
Moon cave skip.
And thank God.
Oh yeah.
I always wonder like where this game would be popularity wise if it didn't have this. I think it would still be very popular, but I think it would turn some people away.
Well, and the moon cave, I mean, optimally, how long do you think that would take?
The moon cave, I think, is it in our 3 to 5 minutes? I forget. I don't know optimally
because
you don't really see it done optimally.
Right.
Because I don't believe Madame Brutal even gives you a moon, so it's very interesting.
First camera just scared me there, but I was able to get it almost took a bonk right there with the dive right at the last second.
Woo! As we see Stravos doing the Bowser fights. Now, for those of you watching this, you think that when you learn the Bowser fight, most people will learn the Bowser fight strat at Cloud Bowser, first one you get to. So this one has a little more of delayed timing. Bowser's a little bit slower, so you can't just copy paste and bring the same exact Cloud strats. Because then you'll be a little early on your backflips, making you miss a hat grab, making you miss a cycle. So it's knowing your timing for both Bowser fights, minimal, but has a big impact.
The flame in this Bowser fight just cracks me up because the hitbox is kind of tiny, which is why if you accidentally trigger the cycle where Bowser has the flames, all you do is you just roll boost over it. That's how small it is.
Yeah, it's a floor scan hitbox. I don't know why. It looks super intimidating, and then it's easy mode.
All right.
And now we're going to be coming up to the escape sequence. And I hate to say it, but you know, once you get to this point, there's really only one thing that I would say it could probably mess you up. I'm not going to name what that thing is until it's done, because people are going to be like, oh man, it's the commentator curse.
Commentator curse, the scripts are going off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on page 10, right? We're on the right one?
Yes. Version 3.
Oh, we're on version 3. I'm on version 2.
Oh, see. Upgrade that script.
I forgot. We made it more dramatic.
All right. 2D skip.
Just gonna whistle.
Oh.
Just gonna whistle. And
right.
Okay, we're good. We're good. That was the one spot I was talking about. 2D skip. If you die there, you're losing about a minute. It's not a fun death, and that would definitely have put Fur back in the lead. As Fur is now going for the 2D section himself, knocking down the bridge, and we're going to be seeing Stravos get ready to enter the pillar room.
For entering into the 2D section himself.
And don't forget, as we said earlier, every second counts right now because of how the point system works in this. So Fur wants to finish close to Stravos rather than just kind of trying to risk anything. There's not really anything you can risk here anymore. I'd say in pillars, the one spot that people could die is this little gap right here next to this pillar to the right. And then the very rare and rarely seen invisible wall. I think it's if you get to the cube too early. I don't. Yeah, we're not gonna see it here from Stravos. He's gonna finish up the sequence and the any percent run. Very good fireballs from Fur for the first pillar. The second one,
very quick.
Oh, he hit the other pillar. That's very interesting. Oh, all right, Fur.
All right. 102.40 from Stravos.
And this is very important for Fur. Can he finish before 103.10? Looks like he got slow swipes.
Yep.
And Fur is now done. GG's to both the runners.
Oh, yeah. Phenomenal. So we're going to go ahead and bring these guys in, talk to them. Stravos, great run. You guys were neck and neck the entire time, just trading lows back and forth. Stravos, what do you have to say about that run?
Yeah, that was a race. That was definitely a race. Can't say otherwise on that one. It was a strange race for sure.
It was.
As far as top level any percent goes, you normally don't see this bad of mistakes from both players and still having it be kind of a neck and neck race.
Right. I mean,
Like,
it was at one point the lead would change with a bonk. You know,
yeah.
I think the deciding factor really was probably luncheon, most likely. You know, and Fur actually took a death in Bowser's, bonking on the side, working on the Shards Moon. But other than that, it was close the entire time.
Yeah, like, Fur took a death in Bowser's, but I messed up mech.
Yes.
So, like, we just had lots of pretty equal mistakes, big and small, throughout the entire race. Like, it was very weird. Like, any mistake, big or small, could have changed the race at any point, basically. Like,
Oh, yeah. And Fur, I'm not going to lie, your Moon Cave skip right at the end terrified me.
Oh, it scared me too.
You know, like, bonk incoming. Oh, wait, no, it's a... All right, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta
What
get
do you-
a clean shave, right?
Right. Philly, what do you have for these guys?
Yes, Travis. Actually, you know, we saw you fail Nut Clip, unfortunately, and then Rock Clip was taking a while. So typically, you know, in a race setting is the only time you're probably gonna force yourself to really work on Rock Clip. How much experience do you have with Rock Clip outside of racing? How much time you committed to it? And were you ever thinking at one point this isn't happening?
well, basically, all I knew was I need to keep going for it because it just is the fastest way to continue from. So, like, no matter how many mistakes I'm making, like, it's always still the fastest way to continue from where I'm at. So, like, I just gotta hope it works because I should be getting it. And I used to be really consistent at it. I probably have the most time out of any runner with Rock Clip because when it was first found before Nut Clip, I spent a lot of time like doing all the science behind it and trying to get it really fast. And so I have really good movement for that. It's just over time I've lost my ability to do the clip as consistently. The clip itself.
Yeah. And for what was your biggest takeaway from this run? Anything that any highlights that you noticed? Any comments? Anything that you really want to point out, proud of, or? Just...
I did better than I expected, I'll be honest, besides the death. Because I've been, like, doing a lot of AUM recently, so I haven't been practicing any percent as much.
Right.
We
So,
mentioned that when you were
I
doing the
mean-
cap throws in Ruined.
I mean, yeah, I got a cap farm, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll take a low 103 since I haven't been practicing any percent as much. I'll take
Yeah,
it.
no, for sure. It was a fun race to watch. As we said, in Lake Kingdom, just one bonk and boom, lead change. It was just
Right.
it was back and forth, and then Luncheon and Bowser started the separation, but then you caught up a little with Mech, and it was just very tight. It was good.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like Fur was having a little too much fun with doing the reverse order of Kingdom, so I had to match him there in Seaside.
Yeah, it threw me for a loop. I was like, all right, and they're both going to. Never mind, first going to Wood.
right.
So what's the decision behind that? Is that just used to AUM?
That
muscle
was
memory?
not the reason at first, but now it is my excuse.
Okay,
Oh, that's fair.
Okay. Because I didn't think about that till now, because you would want to go there first. So yeah, it was interesting for sure. Caught us off guard.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very, very much phenomenal run from both of you guys. And we look forward to seeing what you're going to be bringing for the rest of the league as well.
Yeah, GG's to both the runners. Great job, guys.
And stay tuned. We've got some more SMO action coming up next. This is like an SMO day. Equan versus Hui coming up next. After that, the battle for Bikini Bottom. I don't know if you've ever actually watched that speed run, but it's amazing. Like a lot of one frames. Shift makes it look super easy, but it's the grand finals today. The grand finals. So that's going to be huge. And then later on tonight, DD Rails. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, this is a great channel to invest some time into as a viewer. So if you guys are new here and you like the content, you like racing, make sure to hit the follow button. Check out all the races. Check out how much more to the speedrunning community there really is.
For sure. And Philly, it's been a pleasure having you in the booth next to me. I enjoy commentating with you, and hopefully we can do it again here in the near future.
For sure. I loved every minute of it, Thero. It's a great time.
Thanks, guys. Stay tuned. Coming up next, more SMO action. We'll see you again.